Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first round of Modern Group Play here at the StarCityGames.com Players Championship. Jeff Hoogland is on your left with Angel-Chord. Andrew Jessup is on your right with Infect. These players have locked up day number 2 already. The question now is, where will they be seated day number 2? Will they come in with a bye, or do they come in playing the first round of the wildcard round tomorrow? We're going to find out here in just a bit.
Jeff looks like he's expecting a lot of burn as a metagame call here. 3 main deck copies of Collective Brutality on top of a Siege Rhino, a Spike Feeder, a Thrag Tusk, an Archangel Thune, a Spellskite. Some of these cards are doing work in other matchups as well, but really committed to beating Red Aggro this weekend.
And Inkmoth Nexus here for Andrew Jessup. For Jeff Hoogland, he's on 6 cards. He'll start things off with a Forest and Noble Hierarch. For Andrew Jessup, he'll very quickly sacrifice a Misty Rainforest and come across here with Inkmoth Nexus for 1 Infect. And Jeff will have a counter. 9 more to go for Andrew Jessup. Jeff will draw a copy of Wall of Roots, a card I know he's very fond of. You take a look at the Path to Exile in his hand. I believe a Razor Verge Thicket as well. Wall of Roots is here for Jeff. There is the Thicket. And we pass the turn back over to Andrew Jessup, who will draw. He's picked up a copy of Distortion Strike.
I think that has the potential to be a really big player in the matchup. I assume just 1 copy.
Here comes Inkmoth. Jeff up to 2 Infect.
But one of Jeff's best plans in the matchup is just block.
Jeff will now use a Path to Exile on Andrew's end step. Try to take care of the Inkmoth Nexus. Got to search up a Godless Shrine to do that, falling to 17 in combination with the Windswept Heath. Andrew sacrificing his own Windswept Heath. He'll fall a little bit lower as well, searching up a Breeding Pool. And does he have a way to protect his Inkmoth Nexus? He does with Vines of the Vastwood, so he definitely wants to keep that around.
Still good sequencing there by Hoogland, willing to take the 1 Infect and try to remove it end of turn. Blossoming Defense, a huge reason not to try to do anything in combat there.
Yeah, do not want to engage in combat with this deck. I believe Selfless Spirit may have been the draw here for Jeff.
That's something. I mean, it's certainly not an answer per se, but anything he can get in the air right now as a blocker that can trade for a card, very powerful right now.
Stirring Wildwood will be the land. That also counts as a blocker here against Inkmoth Nexus.
Yep.
It's a slow and expensive one, but it counts. There is Selfless Spirit for Jeff. He'll put a counter on Wall of Roots to help pay for the 2-1 flyer, and we're going to head back over to Andrew Jessup, who will untap. And he will draw. Wooded Foothills is what Jessup has picked up. That's a Wooded Foothills. This is an Inkmoth Nexus activation. And now, you mentioned the fact that you felt Distortion Strike would be relevant here.
I like the spread of tricks. It's becoming kind of industry standard here for Infect to have one of this, one of that, one of that. They are all on diminishing returns, so it makes sense to have one. And then also, it's just really hard to play around everything that this deck can produce.
Jeff is going to go to Court of Calling for 2, it looks like, in response to the Distortion Strike. Now, one thing we know about Jeff when it comes to these core decks, he's got a whole bag of tricks.
Could be anything.
Yeah, and I don't know what this thing is. And I'm not sure if Andrew does. Now, again, they have access to each other's deck list, and you wonder how long of a view he took at it to know exactly what 2s Jeff can search up. For now, Andrew's going to sacrifice his Wooded Foothills. He'll get a basic Forest.
I think, well, for 2, if he doesn't have mana floating, he cannot get Kasali Prod Mage for good effect.
Jeez, Become Immense and Mutagenic Growth. Well, that's that.
Okay. Hot dog.
Yeah, Infect's a pretty good deck, isn't it? Andrew Jessup.
Andrew gets it.
Yeah,
he knows what's going on in this format.
He wins getting 1 over Jeff Hoogland. Infect very quickly up a game over Angel-Chord.
Smart guy. And he knows.
That
Jeff,
was
appropriately enough, killed with a Siege Rhino in his hand.
Yes. I'm curious what the 2 was going to be. I imagine Spellskite.
Yeah, Spellskite. That's not. Yeah.
That seems like the best thing to search for there.
Yeah, if he's able to resolve it. That's why you saw Jessup respond with all the pump spells. He knew that the only thing that Hoogland could get there for any sort of effect was his Spellskite, since the Kasali Pride Mage didn't have mana available to activate, and just pumped in response to kill him.
Well, that was quick and to the point, as in fact oftentimes is, especially when Andrew Jessup is playing. We take a look at the sideboards here. We'll see what Jeff's got to dial up. 2 Fulminator Mage, Norzov Pontiff, a Reclamation Sage, an Eidolon of Rhetoric, 2 Abzan Charms, 3 Surgical Extractions, an Eldritch Evolution, a Maelstrom Pulse, and 3 copies of Thoughtseize. Patrick, what do you like in this matchup and why?
Well, I think there's a lot of defensible cards here. I think the 3 copies of Thoughtseize, the Orzhov Pontiff, the 2 copies of Fulminator Mage, the Reclamation Sage are all passable cards. I think you could even consider the Eidolon of Rhetoric for this matchup. And if Hoogland thinks this is just a pure race to the combo, he could bring in the Eldritch Evolution, though I think Hoogland's combo in this matchup is just gain infinite life. That doesn't do anything. So I think he just wants to become a value mid-range deck in the matchup and not really worry about comboing out.
For Andrew Jessup, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Viridian Corruptor, a Seal of Primordium, another copy of Distortion Strike, a Wild Defiance, a Gut Shot, 2 Dismember, 3 Spell Pierce, and a 2 Twisted Image. He's already up a game. How does he solidify things?
Well, the 1 Distortion Strike, I think, very good in the matchup where Hoogland's primary defense is blocking. 2 copies of Twisted Image seem like an easy sell against the Spellskite, Noble Hierarch, Wall of Roots deck. You could also bring in the Dismembers too if you want to fight over that stuff a little bit more. And I love the Grafdigger's Cage in the matchup also.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to like a lot of the options that Jessup has here. And this might just be a good matchup, period.
Well, I think Hoogland does have a path to victory here. If he gums up the works, if he can avoid Blighted Agent, it's hard for Jessup to work around everything that Hoogland does. But you saw the Distortion Strike. That game was problematic. And having access to a second copy, I think, will be very good for Jessup here.
Well, you see the options here for both players. Jeff Hoogland will be on the play here in this game, as Andrew Jessup cleaned him up pretty quickly there in that first one. Both players sideboarding and taking a look at each other's sideboards. So they'll be ready here in just a moment. In the meantime, we'll talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale that is taking place right now. Every Monday, we've got some cool stuff on sale. And right now, standard singles are cheap.
Absolutely. Every week over at Star City Games, there's a new weekly sale. It runs from Monday, 11 o'clock Eastern, throughout the entire week, so make sure to be checking back to the website at least once a week to see what's on sale. Right now, up to 50% off select standard singles.
Getting ready here for game number 2 between Jeff Hoogland and Andrew Jessup. Andrew Jessup, member of Team Metagame Gurus. Jim Davis, his brother, of course, Danny Jessup, Kevin Jones, and formerly Peter Ingram make up the Metagame Gurus. The 20-year-old from New York with 5 open top 8s. He's lost in the finals a lot of those opens that he has top 8'd. He is right now the member on the Metagame Gurus who does not have an open win. It's coming soon, though. Believe you me. Great record over the course of 2016. Played Elves in Legacy to a 2-1 record to win his group, and now he's looking to get himself a bye into the standard portion of our Players' Championship.
And I think a player, I guess, under the radar is fair to say, relative to some of the other names in this tournament, but a player I've watched over the last several years, of course, and someone whose technical play I respect quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember the matchup against him and Peter Ingram in the finals in Indianapolis in Modern. And though Ingram came out on top there, I'll tell you what, Andrew's certainly impressed in that matchup.
Yeah, I thought all credit to Peter, winner of the tournament, and now working at Wizards R&D, good on him. I think Jessup played circles around him, to be frank, in that match. I was really impressed. Jessup's still looking for that title, and I think that loss was painful, even though it came at the hands of a teammate, which always helps out. But I was extremely impressed with Jessup's play that weekend in that tournament in particular.
He's young and he's good. And he's got a lot of matches left to play in his Magic playing career. He's only 20 years old. And we have been impressed when we have seen him. A couple of years ago on the SCG Tour, he was kind of floating in the 17 to 32 standings, kind of floundering a little bit, still kind of figuring out how to play the game competitively. But this year has been a revelation for him.
Yep, and I think the commitment to very specific decks and likely some of the best decks the respective formats have to offer, combined with playing as well as he has, that's a recipe for success. Play really good decks really well.
You'll win a lot doing that.
It's a fine starting point. You can pick up a lot of wins that way.
If only everything in Magic were that easy. And Jeff is going to head down to 6. Andrew will as well. So we'll see if these two players can find a hand they like. Mulligans favor anyone here. It is Modern. Things are pretty volatile.
I think Jessup plays a little bit better on a light resource game than Hoogland does. But Hoogland can also combo out or at least generate pretty insurmountable boards without that many cards. Neither one of these decks a critical mass deck. I think you could argue, in fact, more so than Angel-Chord. But Jessup does play well resource light, so
Okay.
cuts both ways.
They'll be taking a look at 6 cards here in just a moment. We do want to mention, a little earlier this week, Star City Games did release our brand new 2 players versus playmats, which are now available. Pretty sweet stuff going on there. I know a lot of people do like the Versus series with Michael Majors, Todd Anderson, Brad Nelson, Tom Ross, Ross Merriam, sometimes Jerry Thompson as well. And those playmats, you can go ahead and pick those up now at StarCityGames.com. So these players will take a look at 6 cards. Looks like they're going to keep and scry. Jeff kept on top very fast. Andrew has a Blighted Agent. He'll keep on top too. Stirring Wildwood past the turn back. We'll go back over to Jessup. It's a Misty Rainforest. And now a Godless Shrine to draw here for Jeff. A Godless Shrine untapped will bring Jeff down to 18. And now a Voice of Resurgence. Jessup will sacrifice the Misty Rainforest. I think we might have a breeding pool on the way here for Andrew. And it is. Now Jeff will wait patiently and hope things don't get too bad.
You know, it's a card I have exactly 0 interest in playing in Modern.
Voice of Resurgence.
No, that was not going to be my answer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Stirring Wildwood. That is not a card I have any interest in.
That's not how you want to be doing things?
No.
A little too fair for you?
I mean, the keyword only works if you're blocking.
Sure.
So that is just, forget that.
Defensive creature land.
Yep.
You're looking to get somebody dead. I get it.
Quietly a heinous design.
Ooh, Collective Brutality.
All right.
Going to discard Noble Hierarch. Let's take a look at Collective Brutality with Escalate. As Jeff is going to take a look at the grip here, you see another Blighted Agent. A Become Immense, a Might of Old Corrosion, a couple of lands. Now, this card is picked up a lot in Modern. I think it's going to pick up even more across other formats. It's very powerful. It's the 2-mana sorcery. Escalate to discard a card. You choose one or more. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You can choose an instant or sorcery card from it. That player discards that card. Target creature gets -2/-2, and then target opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So Jeff is going to give the Blighted Agent -2/-2, and a little duress action, that first mode, to take an instant or sorcery.
Yeah, discarding for profit, very good in Eternal formats. This card's so good against small creature decks, particularly Burn. No surprise to see it pick up in a big way in Modern.
And there goes Might of Old Corrosion. Temple Garden will enter the battlefield untapped here for Jeff. Here comes Voice of Resurgence.
So my point about the Stirring Wildwood being quietly heinous design.
Yes, please.
The
Continue.
biggest cost of lands with powers is, it's already hard enough to keep track of what's going on in the battlefield. Having lands that have powers or these like, oh, I forgot that was down there and now, et cetera, et cetera. So having a keyword that only works when it's blocking is kind of indefensible. Surprise, I have a flying blocker down here.
Sort of, kind of.
Right. I mean, whatever, it's competitive Magic. People have a high tolerance for this sort of stuff. But
Maybe you don't get it. It's a really big tree that was hiding.
I question shooting as high as I did on the power level of the World Wake dual lands to begin with.
Sure.
And then particularly having one with a defensive keyword is really egregious.
A Noble Hierarch, a Blighted Agent here for Andrew.
Things were looking really good there for Hoogland based on last turn, but Jessup re-upping here now with the Nexus 2. Not clear that Hoogland's going to have the tools to manage all these threats.
Well, Path Exile takes care of Blighted Agent. And perhaps Selfless Spirit will be able to do a nice job of blocking. Here's Voice of Resurgence attacking
And
for 3.
The Wildwood.
Yes, we can't forget about the Wildwood.
Jessup especially cannot.
Yes. That'd be very bad for him to do. Andrew will fire up. He will play another Noble Hierarch, and now Selfless Spirit will not be blocking. Noble Hierarchs, man, I'll tell you, that Exalted damage, it adds up, and it makes blocking very difficult too.
Yeah, that's quite the card.
Tough thing here for Jeff, is that he knows the last card in Andrew's hand. It's become immense. Now we're short. He's access to 2 mana.
4 cards plus 2 mana.
Oh yeah, it costs 6.
Yeah.
Some reason I always think it costs 7. My apologies.
So it's good.
Yes. So clear for takeoff. It would be for 9, in fact, if Andrew were to do that right now.
Yeah, Jeff only had 2 terminates, several flying blockers, and
a duress built into one of those.
right.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll see if that's enough to get to game 3. It's not looking great.
No guarantee at this point.
Right.
Jeff has 3 infect. Now Jeff will untap, and he will draw. He picked up a plains.
I like Jeff not blocking in that spot. I think you can sort of commit the Wildwood to trading with the Become Immense, assuming that you are allowed to block. And Hoogland kind of needs to race here. This 2 damage that he's picking up from the Selfless Spirit is significant, I think.
There's a plains, pass the turn back, stirring Wildwood at the ready.
Yep. Nothing going on down here, just some dual lands. Surprise! It has reach.
Jessup will activate. And, yep, he was not surprised. Andrew was not surprised by Stirring Wildwood. Here's Become Immense. Jeff going to lose the Stirring Wildwood, of course. No point in making creature indestructible when it has a million infect counters on it. So Jessup trying to figure out the best way to cast it while still leaving his graveyard intact to cast another one. He's able to do that pretty easily. His last card in hand is a Misty Rainforest. We'll see if he plays it. He does. Now we head back over to Jeff. And Jeff will draw. Is that Pontiff? Jeez.
That'll play.
Goodbye, Noble Hierarchs. In comes Voice of Resurgence for 3. The game has changed, but I like the no attack with Selfless Spirit. He's got to be careful.
He still gets to truck along for lethal over the course of the next 2 turns, and it forces Jessup to draw running pump spells to be able to punch through the Selfless Spirit and then generate lethal. That's asking a lot. If you just attack with the Selfless Spirit, then Become Immense off the top kills you.
Inkmoth. And Crash. And Block. And Pump. Mutagenic Growth will take care of the Selfless Spirit. And now we head back over to Jeff. Jeff somehow not out of the woods yet. Didn't get a great look.
No, he is. Feels like he's just gonna die next time. Had a great curve, played everything on time, managed his resources well.
Reclamation Sage not going to blow anything up. Well, you're dead to Become Immense.
Yep. I have a feeling.
It's not your first time in the booth, man.
It is not.
We've seen some pretty good top decks so far this tournament. Mostly in the hands of Liam Lonergan. Perhaps it's Andrew Jessup's turn.
I feel like I've seen this movie before.
It's just Become Immense that does it, right? Nothing else?
Yeah, he needs to pick up 6.
Yep.
Only one way to pick up 6. But I just,
You're not feeling good about it.
It's been a while, but I feel like I've seen this movie before. Jeff giving him a thorough shuffle.
As he should.
Thorough.
As he should. And he's not. He's seriously going to die. Oh, my. You got to be kidding me. Oh, my God.
I feel.
Oh, my God.
I feel like I've seen this movie before.
Oh, my
I don't
God.
remember the plot in its entirety, but I feel like someone has every.
Come on.
Jeff's draw can't do a whole lot better than that. Cannot do a whole lot better than that. Was not good enough.
Andrew Jessup gonna win this match here over Jeff
My
Hoogland.
memory's fuzzy.
2 games to 0.
I just have, I walk in the middle. I feel like I've seen this cast of characters before, and I recall the conclusion.
Experiencing a severe case of deja vu as Infect wins this match over Angel-Chord 2 games to 0. You know what I would do if I played